Now, guys, I told you to mark your calendars because this is one of the first times that I read something from Justin Bonds and actually agreed with it. And I looked for where's the catch where he like trashes Algorand. He actually didn't, and I think he made some good points. So, well, let's just dive into this long post by Justin Bonds because I think it's actually worth talking about. So this is Justin Bonds. He says, "Let's cut through the BS with hard facts. Bitcoin 7 TPS and 82 nodes. ETH 179 TPS with 8.1 thousand nodes. 8,100 nodes, Sol with 20,000 plus TPS with 1.1k nodes, ADA with 18 TPS, 3k nodes, Sui 20k with 121. He's talking about TPS. He's adding the plus here too. Skipping down to Algo, he says 10k plus, and it is 10k plus. With 3,700 nodes. So TPS equals capacity, nodes equals decentralization, capacity plus decentralization equals scalability. This is all a gross oversimplification, as there are far more metrics to take into account and many more devils in the detail. I think that's true. However, these are still incredibly important metrics on their own and should not be underestimated. So he talks a little bit about his node count methodology. I didn't see anything like super that really stood out as far as that. And then TPS measure. The one thing I would disagree with, to me it matters, and I severely disagreed with him when Solana had this like test where they supposedly did like 100k TPS, but they were including all kinds of like little test transactions that had like barely any impact or any size to them. Whereas he made the same claim against Algorand, saying, when I said, hey, actually we've had blocks clock in at 15k. So like an actual real use, not a test. It's been tested at like 15k, and Justin was like, well, I have to look at those transactions. But suddenly for Solana, which he favors, you didn't have to. I thought that was really strange. And he talks a little bit about speed, and I was about to like, get a little irritated, and you can see he says measuring block time and not finality. So this is one area where I actually disagreed with Justin on. I said, well, the block times are 2.8, but the finality is instant. It cannot be reversed as soon as that transaction happened, and that is not true for all cryptocurrency. In my selection, deal with it instead of strictly following market capitalization, as I usually do for such lists, and other specific rules for inclusion. In order to avoid accusations of bias, I just included whatever I wanted to this time instead. I will be accused of being a paid shill no matter what I do at this point, while facing extreme toxicity for telling everyone about these basic truths. Here's what I'll say, because I do understand this idea that if you rip on a coin that people like, they will come after you, they will get mad. It's very, very common. I get it. However, he does not always adhere to the same standards when it comes to, say, Algorand versus Solana. I notice he uses two different standards, which is very interesting to me. Honorable exception, I usually exclude Algo from such lists due to its centralized relay nodes, which make it technically permissioned. I don't agree with that. However, considering they are very close to fixing that issue, they have peer-to-peer. The main thing is the peer-to-peer gossip, which is actually live now. I don't know if he knows that. It's live right now. I believe it's still in the stage where you have to opt into it, but the peer-to-peer gossip basically takes away that problem. I think it's safe to say close to fixing, so I'll give him that. I thought I could make an exception here, so this can be considered a shortcut for their positive efforts. The one thing that's not super clear is he talks about, while he normally would exclude them, but now he's including them. I'm guessing this is a list of what he considers decentralized then, but he doesn't make it clear like why he selected this list or what it's supposed to mean. It looked like he was just taking a random selection and saying, well, let's look at these, some of the more popular coins, and let's look at how they're performing, how decentralized they are, how fast they are, etc., etc. It's kind of weird he talks about inclusion, but you didn't really say what the list is supposed to signify in the first place. But considering what he says at the bottom, as cryptocurrency is useless without capacity and pointless without decentralization, I'm guessing he's saying this is a list of coins that have some degree of capacity and decentralization. But he's also ripped on Bitcoin. So I don't think his inclusion of Bitcoin is that, because only 82 nodes and 7 TPS, obviously that's not decentralized, and ETH has the most number of nodes. 8,100 is a lot, but only 179 TPS. That is still, it's more than Bitcoin, of course, but still so slow, that you pay it like through the node to use it, through the nose. Look what I did there, Freudian slip. So, but otherwise, I have my issues with Solana that I think Justin overlooks, but it is very fast and people do like it. It's very popular. So yeah, and then near with 100,000, I did not know that, but that's a very small number of nodes. And this is where Algorand really came through, where they increased the number of nodes. I think that was super smart. So anyway, I encourage you to read the whole post and form your own opinion on what he said. But I just was so surprised that in general, it's like one of the first times I actually agreed with Justin Bonds, because I felt like he was being intellectually honest, and I want to shout that out, because in the past I have not always felt like that. And he's been corrected on a lot of the things he said by John Woods, for example. So it is what it is. Good, good for him, man. And people, I don't believe in like villains and heroes. I mean, if someone does something good, then we'll say it's good, and if it's bad, we'll say they're bad. So that's that. Hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Algorand struggling a little right now, as is the rest of the market. But who knows? By the time you're watching this, it might be back up again. So just hang on. I really think we have a huge bull run ahead yet for altcoins. So stay tuned. I'm Frugal BC, and I will see you in the future.